How many times have you felt so stuck because you couldn't make a decision? How many times have you, in that situation, waited so long that someone else has had to step in and make the choice for you? How did you feel after that happened? In control? Were you irritated by that person's choice, or were you happy that the choice had been made for you? Welcome back to Master Your Mindset, Master Your Life. I'm Sanj, your mindset coach and guide on this journey to mastering your life. I'm here to help you get you from surviving to thriving, from stuck to unstoppable. And today, that's what we're talking about. Taking back control, because if you don't choose, if you don't make the tough decisions, someone else will, and you may not like the choices that they make. And at the end of the day, life is just a matter of choices, and every choice that you make actually makes you. I love the fact and the quote that James Clear said, "Every action you take today is a vote for the person you want to be." And today we're diving into why avoiding decisions can actually cost you your happiness, your control, your confidence, and most importantly, how it actually costs you your life. It costs you your life because you're letting others dictate where your life should go, what your life should look like. And so if you're sick and tired of it, if you're sick and tired of just sitting back and actually not having the confidence in your own abilities to make decisions, that you have to wait for other people to do it for you, then today's the day you stop that. Today's the day where you wake up and you think, actually, no, I'm going to take back control. I'm going to be the one to master my life. I'm going to be the one to change my life for the better. And hopefully by the end of this episode, you'll understand why stepping up to make your own decisions is an ultimate power move in your life. And I'll give you some practical ways, as always, to boost your decision-making confidence. So let's start. Let's be honest, decision-making isn't always easy, especially when those stakes feel high or the options are just overwhelming. As I spoke about in my last episode, more options does not always equal better choices. It's overwhelming. It's too much. You want a few options and you will make the best choice with the fewer options. Because when you're overwhelmed by options, it can paralyze you. You get paralysis by analysis. You become overwhelmed and you overthink all the options that are there. It's easier to push your decisions aside than weighing out every single option. So you just don't do anything. And so you just end up getting decision fatigue. And then when you've got so many options, you have a fear of making the wrong choice. You worry about things like regret, like failure. So you actually end up just delaying choosing altogether. Think about picking a career path, for example. Some people stay in a job that they hate just because they decide that the risk of changing is actually riskier than staying unhappy. It's going to lead them to a worse place than staying unhappy. So, and finally, we struggle to make decisions because there's comfort in letting others decide. It's less stressful in the moment. And when we let someone else decide, we then have someone to blame. So if things don't go your way, it goes back to the fear of failure, the fear of regret. When things don't go, or if things don't go your way, you then have someone to blame. Yeah, it was this person's fault. You're not willing to take the responsibility yourself. You're not willing to be accountable for your actions. So then you let someone else to decide for you. But the problem is when someone else decides for you, when you avoid making the decision, and when someone or something inevitably steps in, what it means is you start to lose control of your life because you're handing over your choices, you're giving away your agency. When you sit there and you say, for example, let your boss decide your workload, or your partner decide your hobbies, or your kids decide what your future is going to look like, over time you feel like a passenger in your own life. You're losing control because you're letting other people decide what you're doing, when you're doing it, why you're doing it. And then when you're losing control, you actually start to become you become unhappy. When you don't choose, you often end up in situations that don't align with what you want and where your goals are in life. You're no longer taking actions that align with your values. Yeah, so when you're making choices, yeah, you feel you're happier when you're in control of the decision-making process. So when someone else decides for you, you're actually causing yourself unhappiness. And then as well, with that unhappiness, it actually erodes your confidence, because when you're avoiding decisions, it actually weakens and decreases your belief in your own abilities. And so then next time, when you get an opportunity to make a decision, it makes it harder to step up next time, because you don't have that belief in yourself. You don't have that confidence in yourself. You don't think you're going to make the right choices. But it is crucial that you start today to make your own decisions, because it's about reclaiming that power. It's about actually improving your life. It's about improving your happiness. It's about giving you back that control, increasing your happiness and confidence. So when you make decisions, it actually allows you to define your path. It allows you to take the pen back. It gives you control of where your story, your life story is going. You decide how your story ends. When you're actually allowing others to make all these choices for you, you're letting them dictate where your story goes. So take back that pen. This is why it's crucial to make your own decisions. You start making them and you start writing your story. It also means that when you're taking on this responsibility of your own decisions, you start to build resilience, because you're going to get up and keep going if you've made that choice. Even if the outcome isn't perfect, you'll learn from it, you'll grow from it. If it's not perfect, you'll take something away from it and you'll actually know for next time. But if you never make the decision, you're never going to change, you're never going to learn, you're never going to grow. So you build that resilience because you've made that decision. You want to see it through. And you also gain fulfillment as well, because when you make the decision and you're living on your own terms, life feels so much more rewarding. You're no longer a slave to anyone else. You're no longer being dictated to what you're meant to feel, how you're meant to feel, when you're meant to feel. Yeah, so you're actually taking control. You're the one deciding what your life should be, where it should be. And so you need to actually start to improve your decision-making confidence. That's where the difference happens. When you start to build your confidence in decision-making, that's actually what you'll start doing. You'll build your confidence. You'll start to live a life you want. You'll start to actually be more excited. You'll define your path. You'll build your resilience. You'll gain fulfillment. You're going to actually start to turn your life around. One way to do this is start small. Start with low stakes decisions and build your way up. Start small with small little things. Yeah, for example, decide what to eat for dinner without overthinking it. And the main part of this is without overthinking it. Because to make the decision is one thing, but when you're overthinking it, that's where it's going to more likely to hold you back. So the more you practice it, the easier it becomes. Start making those decisions, what you're going to have for dinner without thinking it. Just tell yourself you're going to have whatever you feel like in this moment. The next thing is, when you're faced with a decision, ask yourself, how will I feel about this decision in 10 minutes? What about in 10 months? And what about in 10 years? What you do by asking yourself this is you actually separate emotion from long-term consequences. So it actually allows you to think in the long term before making a decision. The final thing is to set boundaries. Don't let other people pressure you into deciding what you want to do on their terms. Give yourself time, space to make thoughtful choices. Give yourself time to actually think, is this decision, is it in line with your values? Is it not? And think about the consequences. When you actually allow yourself time and space to make the right choice, you become more confident because you will have thought things through. You will have actually come and thought to yourself, yeah, this is the best option for me. So if someone asks you for an immediate answer, just practice saying, let me get back to you with that. Let me just think about it for a while. And with these 3 techniques, you can improve your decision-making confidence and the quality of your decisions, because you're not gonna just do this overnight. It's going to be something that you build up. So start small. Using the 10-10-10 rule, this is actually something that will make sure that you actually make decisions that align with your long-term values. So you'll be making better quality decisions. And as well, when you set boundaries, it also means that you're doing things on your own term. You're giving yourself space and time to come up with the right answers. Yeah, so what's one decision that you've been putting off? You've been waiting for someone else to come and save you. And how would your life change? How would your life change if you made it today? Remember, every time you choose, you take back a piece of your power. In the long run, you shape your life. You shape yourself. The process never ends until you die. So make sure that the choices that you make are ultimately your responsibility. Take control. Make the call. Your life is waiting for you. What are you waiting for? Thank you for listening to another episode. Really grateful that you're still here and I hope you got some useful information out of it. Please, as always, leave me a rating, a review, or leave me a comment. Let me know what your biggest takeaway was, what you're going to implement today from this episode. And if you know someone who would benefit from hearing this, please pass it on to them. Remember, if you start to make better decisions, you're going to actually increase your happiness. You're going to be able to steer your life in the direction you want it to be. You're going to make it a life where you wake up every day excited, enthusiastic, and energized to live. So shift your mindset so you can take back control. When you master your mindset, you'll master your life. Thank you.